All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry. I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hello, and welcome to Road to Recovery, the show that attempts to offer hope and help and healing and wholeness for those who are struggling in the area of addiction. Maybe it's drug addiction or alcohol addiction or other levels of addiction in your life. And if that's not you, maybe you have a family member or friend, a coworker, a neighbor that is going through this challenging process and really needs to have some source of encouragement or inspiration, or to know that there are people around Lancaster and Fairfield County that will help them on this road to recovery. That's really what this show's about. We so appreciate those who have responded either by email or by card or stopped us in the community and are being encouraged by the program. That is a great encouragement to us as well. My name is Steve Rao. I have the privilege of co-hosting this with Tricia Saunders. She is the Executive Director of the Recovery Center. Welcome back to Road to Recovery.
Thank you. It's great being here today.
201 South Columbus Street.
That's where we are.
Is that where the Recovery Center
yes,
is?
We sure.
And if folks give you a call, 740-687-4500, you'd like them to call, but they could also stop in if the need arises.
Yeah, we just know we'll have someone available for them if they call ahead of time, but if not,
Yeah.
we will fit them in.
Yeah, because it's part of what makes our community a great place to live, work, worship, and raise a family.
That's right, it is.
Because people partnering together and leading and helping those who have challenges in our community. So thank you for the work that you're doing and your staff there at the Recovery Center and for being on the program today.
Well, thanks. It's good to be here with you. It's always a fun time, and
we try to keep
we
it
have
fun.
an exciting new guest today.
We do have an exciting new guest. He is the youth pastor at the Fairfield Christian Church. His name is Joel Reid. Welcome to Road to Recovery, Joel.
How's it going, Steve?
I'm doing great, thank you. We're going to find out how you impact lives and provide encouragement and support to individuals or family members who are going through the process of addiction. But before that, let's learn a little bit about Joel Reid. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Asheville, Ohio. It's about half an hour just west of Lancaster here. Went to Tays Valley High School, graduated in about 2001. Went down to Kentucky Christian University and got my degree in Bible and preaching. And then have had the opportunity for 8 years to work down in Gallipolis, Ohio. And then just about 2 years ago, I came here to Fairfield to be the youth pastor here.
Very good. Now, Gallipolis is an area of our state that really has some addiction struggles, isn't it?
Sure do, yes. It's probably the most concentrated of all. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so you come with some experience.
Yes, yeah.
And it's interesting hearing you say, well, I don't work directly in the addictions field, but anytime you're touching the life of a family member, which is what you do every day, or making a strong impression on a young person to help keep them going in the right direction, making a big difference.
You haven't had your own addiction struggle, as I have not, but we've been around people who have had this struggle or family members of those who are struggling. What has been your response to those individuals?
Just honestly, just love. In youth ministry, we see so many teens that either are going through their own struggles, with addiction, or just members of their family, specifically a lot of times their parents or brothers or sisters. They are very much within that realm of being affected by addiction. And, just in youth ministry, we have that opportunity to invest in their lives and to encourage them and show them and educate them the path that God has for their lives, that they have a future that is beyond any of the struggles that they see going on within their family, and just encouraging them and loving on them and just supporting them.
Well, Tricia Saunders has a lot of experience in this area and training and education and that kind of thing. Guys like you and me, not so much.
I don't know about
and
that.
yet, what we do is we try to offer just some support and encouragement and direction and maybe a listening ear.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had the opportunity to work with individuals that somebody would say, well, they're probably going through a hard time, and really it wasn't them, but it was a family member or friend?
Yeah, especially with teens, they're brought up in that environment. And so a lot of times, just on the surface level, people can maybe be a little judgmental or sit there and look at a teenager and think, oh boy, that kid's life must be pretty rough. And mistakenly thinking that maybe they themselves are involved. But I'll be honest with you, I mean, one of the great things about working in youth ministry, even in the midst of all this, is seeing the teenagers, especially of this generation, seeing how destructive addiction can be. And it doesn't matter what addiction we're talking about. And instantly, they understand that they need to stay away from it. But a lot of times the circumstance in their life, it might seem like maybe they themselves are struggling. And I think all too often people can make that judgment and then, kind of distance themselves or push them away or not get involved with the student's life because maybe they're thinking they're going to get into a big mess or whatever. But honestly, that's the opportunities that we have to really, to either something as simple as saying an encouraging word can mean so much to those kids and those people, to lift them up out of those circumstances and just know that there is someone that cares about them, that wants what's best for their life. And man, that can just make such an impact in a teenager's life. And I've seen it over and over and over again.
And, you talk about the kid who you think, you can look at and tell that they're going through a rough time. You mentioned earlier that before the show that there are kids who are doing really well and people wouldn't really recognize that they might be going through something too.
Yeah, well, a lot of times because of, a family situation, like, for instance, maybe a teen, their parents, they are so down and out that, that teen almost becomes the parent to their own parents. Because of that responsibility level that they have learned, a lot of times, they are successful in life in different ways, and you would sit there and think, oh, that kid's got it all together. But just behind the curtain, there is all this going on, and they might just be hanging on by a thread, in those different situations. So, I mean, again, the more that we invest our lives into teenagers and kids and just the people around us, honestly, the more we get to know them, the more that we see their problems, and the more we see how we are able to affect them positively and encourage them in so many different ways.
It seems to me that a guy or a gal in that position, maybe they're on the honor roll, they're an outstanding athlete, they're involved in music, they love drama, and yet, as you say, behind that curtain, there's another story.
Yeah.
What advice would you offer to try to help get behind that curtain? Because it seems to me like there might be ways that we can listen, or things that we listen for, or things that we don't hear that we would need to hear. So how would you suggest we get behind that curtain and say, great work you're doing academically or athletically or other areas of your life, but there seems to be some other challenges. How can we support you? How do you get past that curtain?
Well, first of all, honestly, and it doesn't, for me, in my experience, it doesn't matter if it's a teenager or an adult or anybody. If someone knows that you care about them, instantly, they're gonna listen to you. People aren't gonna listen to you if they don't think that you care about their lives or you want what's best for them. If they think you're trying to sell them something or you're just, involving yourself in their life because for your own benefit or whatever. But when people truly know that you care, that instantly changes just the relationship, the attitude with people. And, just by simply including yourself in someone's life, with a teenager, if you do notice that they're successful in something, encourage them saying, hey, I noticed this about your life. And that's really great. And just opening that door, you will find as you start those types of relationships and those encouragements, you will see that person open up to you just a little bit more to maybe kind of see and realize, hey, what's going on? And just, the simple question of, hey, how are you doing today? And not expecting the simple, I'm doing fine, great, and then to shake hands and just move on. But creating that time in your life with another person that when you ask that question, you're not just flippantly asking how are things going, but you really want an answer. Like to sit there and say, how are you doing? And give them that opening to say, well, you know what, man, today's been kind of rough. And, and knowing that you are giving them that time to open up is hugely important, and something that we have to be proactive about.
Do you think sometimes as adults, especially, that we're afraid to go there because we're afraid of what we might find out, and then what do we do about it?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I mean, even in ministry, sometimes there's that moment where you realize, wow, you see that big problem or that big issue. But then I think that's why it's so important to be connected with people like you, Tricia. You know what I mean? To be able to understand those opportunities that we have to reach out and say, hey, I might not be able to help you with this right now, but here's some people that I know that I can connect you with. But even more so, I think we are so afraid to realize our own giftings and our own abilities to truly help someone out. And it's just simple as, like we were talking about before, just loving on them, encouraging them, including them in your life and including your life into their lives, When we do that, I mean, as a Christian, I always see how God equips us to serve others, even when we don't think that we are equipped. And but just all those different things all put together, yeah, it is a big, we're putting ourselves out there when we are kind of seeking out those types of relationships. But, number one, God can move through anything. And number two, when we have a community and organizations within our community that are willing to help and are so good at it, just making all those different connections can be a huge help.
That's so true. And I think not letting ourselves be too afraid, but knowing that we don't have to fix everything for that person, but just to be there and listen and know that they can come to you. And you're right, you can always refer them to other people who can give them further assistance. That's beautiful.
Yeah, well spoken.
Yes.
One of the challenges that you and I sometimes have when you have the title pastor in front of your name, people may be a little reluctant to share, or they have a concept that, they're just going to reject me, or they only like the nice people or the good people or the clean people. That's really not what church, and certainly not what God is about, is it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because even, at different times, kind of being a younger person, a lot of people don't immediately think, that guy's a pastor or whatever, But when in conversations, when you try to engage people, you ask them, what do you do? And then they turn around and ask you the question. It's like you almost cringe just to say, well, I'm a pastor, because you see that switch, like, I can only talk about certain things here. But here's the cool thing about, just about Jesus. You look at Jesus and his life and the way that he went around just seeking out people. He didn't go and seek out the pretty, the good-looking, the absolute people that had it all together. He went to the people who were in need. And as Christians, that's what we have to be doing. In our community in Lancaster, there is such a need. And only being here for 2 years, I'm getting to see the needs more and more. And I realize every single day how much things aren't going to change until we actively go out and seek out those opportunities to make an impact in people's lives. When you look at Jesus, especially in the book of Mark, you see action words like immediately and at once. Jesus went and did this. Jesus was a man of action, and as followers of Jesus Christ, that's what we're supposed to be also. So the more that we step out on faith and we allow God to use us to impact other people's lives, whether it's something as simple as an encouraging word or a big question of, hey, how are you doing? God wants to use us, and until we open our eyes and give God that avenue in our own lives to go out and seek those opportunities, He's not going to be able to make the impact that He wants to make through us. So we just have to be active.
You totally inspired me. I feel like I need to go out and find some people to be good to and encourage, and it's so true. And if every one of us did that to somebody else in our lives, it would certainly have that ripple effect.
And that's where the partnership comes together. Yeah. People like Tricia Saunders at the Recovery Center and Pastor Joel Reid at Fairfield Christian Church, partnering together, saying we can work together to make a difference in these lives. Thanks for coming and sharing a little bit about your life, your passion for people, and the guidance to encourage us to listen and to point people in the right direction, to be there for them. Keep up the good work.
Yes, keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Tricia, for your willingness to partner with whoever is in the business of making lives better for those here in Lancaster and Fairfield County.
We are happy to do so, and that's what makes it work.
It certainly does. Again, the Recovery Center is at 201 South Columbus Street. They can be contacted 740-687-4500. If you're struggling or a family member or friend is struggling, there are people right here in our community ready, willing, wanting, and able to help. So give them the opportunity to do so, and let's take the challenge individually to be listening ears for those who are going through a challenging time. Join us next time as we continue to journey down this road to recovery.
Hi, I'm Sean Johnson of the 2008 U.S. Gymnastics team. I'm here with our friends from VeggieTales to say, be a player, get up and play an hour a day.
Besides gymnastics, how do you stay in great shape, Sean?
I love to dance and rollerblade.
Cool.
You don't have to be an Olympian to be a player. Just do the things you already love to do, like jump rope, ride a bike, or even play freeze tag.
Now that's something to live for.
Well done! For fun ways to get healthy, visit www.smallstep.gov.